James, that takes me to my first guest in the studio this evening. Now, I said earlier on in the news, I said, what is the link between the Willis clan and Cavan Rugby Club male voice choir? What was the connection? Well, it is that they're all very good looking. Okay, so that takes, and they can sing as well, of course. That takes me to Brian Derhan. Brian, you're very welcome to the studio again.
Thank you.
You are the PRO of the Cavan Rugby Club male voice choir. And you're going from strength to strength. You had a fantastic evening here in Cavan TV.
We did indeed.
And it got great reviews. Got great views and reviews on the TV. So now you've got the Willis clan, the fantastic Willis clan, and they are going to be in the Kilmore Hotel next Wednesday week, the 17th of June,
correct.
On concert. Okay, yeah. Tell me all about that.
Well, we got the opportunity. They're doing a tour of Ireland for the month of June, and through Sean McGilly, who has great connections in Cavan, we got the opportunity to host the Willis clan, and we are selling tickets now for the event on the 17th of June. They are doing a tour of the country. They're an amazing family. There's 12 children in the family, all starting with the letter J as their names. Mother and father Brenda and Toby are with them, and they play so many instruments. It's amazing.
They sing, they dance throughout the music as well.
They do. They've had 3 albums out already.
Yeah. Okay, just a bit of their background as well. Yeah. They have been on America's Got Talent.
They have. They got to the finals of America's Got Talent. They hail from Chicago originally, but they moved to Ashland City in Tennessee. Back in 2001.
That's the home of country music. So
home of country music. Yeah, their first album would have been. It was called Roots. It would have been very much based on Irish traditional music, with showing great homage to the tradition, but also showing great flair for inventiveness. And when they moved to the country, they picked up on country music, both new and old, and bluegrass, and they're very, very proficient at bluegrass as well. So their third album, which is only just out now, is called Heaven. And a lot of the music there is based, again, on Irish music, but much more modern, U2, chorus, but again, come back to bluegrass and traditional. They were here for the Flag Show.
Of course, they have a big link. and they're very fond of Cavan because they were here in the first year of the FLA, isn't that right?
And they did very well in the FLA, so they've a huge number of friends here in the tradition.
Yeah, well, just to say that the Willis family, the clan, if you haven't heard of them, they're people, the young people, fantastic looking people, from about 24 down to 4, I think, and there are 12 siblings in the family. Correct, and the mum and dad, they all play music. Great stuff. They're doing, they sent you, tell us about the promo video that they sent, especially for Cavan.
It's worth seeing. I'm sure you'll be able to show it.
We're going to be able to put it up now, you talk us through it there. It's going to come up on the screen, and here we go.
Well, they'll actually talk on the video themselves.
Hi, we are the Willis clan from Nashville, Tennessee. We are on tour right now in the States, but we are super excited for our upcoming Irish tour in June, and we are especially excited for our concert in Cavan.
We've got fond memories of our time in Cavan Town during Flockhill in 2012.
We want to thank our good friend Sean McGilly and the Cavan Rugby Club Male Voice Choir for the invitation to do a concert in Cavan. And we look forward so much to meeting you all on June 17th at the Kilmore Hotel. Bye!
They're coming on the 17th. Now they're an unusual family in that they're bringing an entourage with them of about 80 people. Now they do a sort of an Irish tour within a tour, bring these people around Ireland, and they'll be all over the west of Ireland in particular. So they're really good for tourism for Ireland. And as I say, they're playing from Derry City to Armagh, Killarney, Limerick, Athy.
For the whole month of June. They are on tour in Ireland for the month of June. They have their own television production company.
They will. They'll have actually public broadcasting and sending a crew with them to film them going around Ireland, which is great for us as well. So we have tickets on sale at the moment through Multisound in Main Street Cavan, and also through the Hotel Kilmore. And all the choir members have tickets for sale, but they're actually selling now reasonably well.
That's great. And also as well, Brian, they are coming in here to Cavan TV studios in Cavan Crystal on Sunday at 4 o'clock. So anybody out there, if you would like to come in and see them record, and get to meet and greet in Cavan Crystal, you are welcome to go into Cavan Crystal Hotel at 4 o'clock. Before 4 o'clock on Sunday, where they are going to be recorded for Cavan TV. Great stuff. They're going to play along with they're going to do their own numbers in the Kilmore on the day, and the Rugby Club Choir are going to sing as well.
We'll sing a little as well, and hopefully do a little collaboration with them. But it's very much a family orientated night. to see so many young musicians and talented dancers there, because they do a lot of Irish dancing as well. I'd encourage families.
What is their Irish roots, Brian? Do they have Irish relations, or what is the story?
They do, but I'd let them go into that on Sunday, because in case I get it wrong. But my understanding is they've got strong Irish roots. Yeah.
So we have got a clip of them from where they were here in the first flat. Yeah, we'll have a look at that now in video. This is the Willis family. Their first. Okay, well there you are, Brian. Counted 8 of them. Yeah, 8 of them on stage there. Absolutely. And you've got like classical instrument there, the double bass and the accordion, everything. Great stuff. And they love playing their music, don't they?
They do. They really
enjoy it.
And you can see they're passionate about it. You know, they don't put it on. You can see they're very, very passionate about what they do, and they're learning all the time, and they're developing, and they are writing their own music. So I suppose for any up and coming young musicians to see what can be done with a huge application and determination, it'd be well worth their while to come along and see them live in the Kilmore Hotel. And as you say, on Cavan Crystal here.
I'll come to Cavan Crystal on Sunday at 4 o'clock.
Just for a short period and give you an idea.
Okay, so good. So the tickets are they're €12.
€12 each, yeah.
Concession tickets there for €10. Now, how many do you want? How many will it take to fill the Kilmore?
We're aiming for 500 people.
Okay.
And we're well on the way, but we would like to sell a lot more, you know. So we're aiming for 500 people at least.
So 500 people, and folks out there, this is unique. They are a unique family, the Willis clan. And this is your chance to get to see them in Cavan, the Willis clan. Fantastic, and their names all begin with J. You had some. You've got Jessica throughout some of the names. There's
Jessica,
one called Jamie
Jeremiah,
as well.
Jennifer, Jeanette, Jackson, and JD, Jasmine, Juliet, Jamie, Joy, Anna, Jaeger, and Jada.
Amazing stuff.
I was going to try and remember them all, but it's not so.
Yeah, and they all look so alike. Great stuff. Okay, so to get back to the choir, get back to the Cavan Rugby Club, but you are doing really well.
We're having a great time,
Yeah, and you're heading to New York next week.
Well, yeah, we're going to New York for Paddy's Week next week. We already have a number of gigs lined up. The Cavan Association wants us to play there, and we have 2 other gigs in the Greater New York area to do during that week. But we've had a great year so far. We've done quite a lot. Local functions, you know, fundraisers for churches and schools. But also we've been invited a number of times now to play, to sing at half-time for rugby matches in Connacht. And in Ulster twice this year. The last one was for the Munster-Ulster game, very big sold-out game, and we did the half-time entertainment there. So we're getting. So
you are the #1 rugby choir, almost, you know, male voice choir. You're the only one anyway.
We're the only
but
one,
you're very good. I can see your popularity. Like, you're popping up at all the big matches.
Yeah.
and things like that. So you're doing a good job on the PR
We're
there.
doing our best.
Yeah.
Thanks for the job.
So we might be able to throw up, are we able to bring up some of the rugby club as they sang in Cavan TV studios? Okay. Okay, so how many will be travelling to New York?
Well, we're hoping for about 40 of the choir to go, but they'll be bringing their spouses, I say, as well.
Right, okay.
But at least 40 people.
And the choir is, and I know it's the same with the Cavan singers as well, it's a great social occasion as well, being in a choir, isn't it?
It is, and we encourage people to join us again. We'll be obviously closing over the summer, but we're back again in September, and we meet on a Thursday evening at about 8:20. And it's all finished by 10:10. A cup of tea and a biscuit, and people go home. But it really is a social.
Yeah, social as well. And also you've got under the capable baton of Noel Bennett and Noel Bennett.
Noel Bennett is fantastic.
And Carmel Faye.
And Carmel Faye is our accompanist,
Okay.
And they do a great job. Our chairman is Sean McKiernan, and he's a great leader. Our president is Thomas Farrell, who started the choir originally.
Yeah, we had a chat with Tom the night he was in the studio. Yeah. So that's it. The Cavan Rugby Club Male Voice Choir, they go from strength to strength. And folks, don't forget the 17th of June, a Wednesday night, and you see the fabulous Willis clan and the Rugby Club Male Voice Choir in concert. So get your tickets before they run out. Brian Derhan, PRO of Cavan Rugby Club Male Voice Choir, thank you so much for taking the time to come into the studio tonight, and the best of luck on the night.
Thank you very much, Anya. Appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
Okay, sorry, we didn't get in the clip of the singing, but I couldn't keep flogging you onto it.
Our accommodation
with
on the edge of
Cavan Rugby Club Choir. You're going to finish us out with a big rouse, or what is it?
Ireland's Call. And if we can help Ireland to all those victories, and I think we've very rarely let our side down, so we can do it again tonight.
Okay, so there you have, folks, the Cavan Rugby Club.
Cavan Town. Located conveniently on the Dublin Road, just 60 minutes away from Dublin. With 85 beautifully appointed bedrooms and a number of luxurious suites. We offer wedding packages. With our one wedding a day policy, we guarantee to make yours a special day. Enjoy a meal at our award-winning Opus One restaurant, or have a drink in the atrium or residence bars. Feeling energetic, you can work out in Zest Health and Fitness Club, or maybe pamper yourself and visit Utopia Health and Beauty Clinic, or Avita's Hair Salon, both located on site. Situated only 5 minutes from Cavan Town Centre and local amenities. Cavan Crystal Hotel, gateway to Ireland's Lakelands.
I'm James Seamus Smith, solo racer around Ireland 2014. I watch Cavan TV, and so should you. Yay!
I'm Gavin Duffy, and I'm saying watch cavantv.com. It's a great opportunity to see some great programs, and you can watch it all around the globe via the internet and on many platforms. I watch it myself. Great stuff.
I'm James Seamus Smith, solo racer, racer in Ireland 2014. I watch Cavan TV and so should you.
Yay!
I'm Gavin Duffy, and I'm saying watch CavanTV.com. It's a great opportunity to see some great programs, and you can watch it all around the globe via the internet and on many platforms. I watch it myself. Great stuff.
And you're very welcome back after the break. Now, as you know, Irish people and indeed Cavan people are great for raising funds and getting things done. And that's what we do, and we do it in times of hard times and in good times as well. Now, during the week, I had a chat with Philip and Siobhan Mcentee, and they are going to Kasambia in Uganda to do some good work. Philip and Siobhan, you're very welcome for coming into the studio this evening, and thank you.
Thank you very much.
Kasambia, Uganda, how far away is that in an airplane?
Well, between the different flights, it takes us about 23 hours to actually get there from Dublin Airport till we arrive at our destination in Kampala. So about 23 hours overall. When we arrive there, then we have another 4-hour journey to go to actually get out to Kasambia, which is it's a small village, and as I said, about a 4-hour drive from Kampala.
Wow, so when you get there, so the story is, yourself and Philip, this is your 5th year, I think, you raise funds out there for the people in Kasambia, and this time around you want to help to build a national school for them. Isn't that right?
That's right.
Where in the name of goodness did you hear about Kasambia, or how did you get to know Kasambia, or where did that come from, Philip?
Well, we went out originally a number of years ago with a Dublin-based charity called Nurture Africa, and this was the town we went to. And then after having been with them for 2 years, we decided that we would get the money directly sent to this town, because the charity was taking some of the money for their main base in Kampala and the rest for Kasambia.
Okay, so
we
like
got
with
to know
all
the people.
organisations, you wanted to see your money make the difference.
Exactly, and to see it being, we go out there, we send the money before we go out, and we see the projects and participate and help with building. And
so you were hands-on when you get out
exactly,
there.
yes.
Now you're going again this time, Siobhan. You're going out in August. Isn't that
July.
right? July, actually. Okay,
July,
you've got some fundraisers coming up, and we'll talk about that. But you also have brought in some pictures, wonderful pictures of the people and the work and the people that you met out there. So you're deep in the heart of Uganda, and you're with the native people out there. I don't know if that's the right, saying the right words.
Well,
there.
it is, and the charity.
How poor are they out there?
It's very, very difficult to describe
make
how
it real
poor.
for us. Just tell us exactly, Siobhan, because we don't really realise, do we?
No, you don't. No, we don't.
Okay.
I mean, if you take the children, really only have. They're lucky if they have clothes to put on them. Most of them don't have underwear. Shoes are an absolute luxury. They don't really have change of clothes. They've nothing to lie on.
Why are they so poor? Is it so many people no work, or why are they so poor?
Well, I mean, the government don't support them. You know, they're trying to eke out an existence with whatever
just as
piece
you're
of ground.
talking there, Siobhan, we're going to have some of the pictures coming.
This
is the children you want to help.
Yes, now this is the children in the particular school where we want to build. This school now floods because it's in low-lying area, and there are cracks in the wall this wide. So the children during the wet season are now sweeping the water out before they can actually take class. That's actually
no health
Philip.
And safety there, no?
No, that's Philip actually doing some reading with the groups,
Philip, right.
which is part of the work that we would do when we were there. And the charity support the families with both health and education projects. Now this particular...
So do you know these children when you go back?
Yeah.
You remember
that's
the time before?
Janet, Ruth and Sarah, and actually there's quite a story attached to them. We worked with them in 2012 when we were there, and that in the background was their house. Janet, just before we arrived, Janet had given birth to a baby who had died 6 weeks prior to that. As you see, Janet's on the ground. Janet actually couldn't get up and walk after the birth of the baby.
Dear.
And obviously it was a home birth, and nobody really knew what the problem was. But before we left, we discovered that actually she had damaged her pelvis and needed medical attention. She hadn't been able to get out and source food for the children.
Do they have midwives on the ground? No.
Oh, no.
Nothing like that.
No, they're at home, and the
They're
birth
really poor.
is taking place. Yes, at home. That's
Yeah.
in the hut.
Give us an idea of what they live in. Like, give us an idea of the degrees centigrade that heat that they live in.
Well,
that
actually,
country.
the heat isn't too bad. In and around 30 degrees. But the thing about Kasambia is based on, or Kasambia and or Uganda is on the equator. Okay.
So they have some water.
They have rain, so
rain.
they do get rain, and over the course of the day, it can go from being, say, quite warm in the morning to about 30 degrees in the afternoon, but then it can cloud over, and in the evening it can be quite cool. So it's not the intense heat that we would be familiar with, maybe in the south of Spain and that type of thing.
Okay.
It's not that. It changes and it varies, and night times are quite pleasant. I suppose one of the more things would be there is no sanitation. So I mean,
Philip, just tell us exactly how poor these people are. Like, you know, in school, have they got good teachers? Are they qualified teachers that are teaching?
They are qualified teachers, yes. The teachers are doing an extraordinary job because they have no resources. I mean, a pencil or a pen would be divided between children. You know what I mean?
And obviously their health service wouldn't be there. Probably non-existent. Is it like dental care, health care?
Yeah, there are local clinics and there are some doctors locally, but it's, you know, if you saw the clinic, like, you wouldn't like to go into it.
Yeah.
It's not very clean.
And for people like you coming out there and taking pictures and bringing it back and telling us about it, that's fantastic. And we think, no, that's not, you know, like, that's just doing that for the camera, but it's not. That's true. They are really that poor.
They are really that poor.
So your big fundraiser is, and you want to build them a national school.
Well, I don't know whether we'll be able to
you're
build them
try
a national. We're going to contribute.
Okay.
I mean, this again is some of the children outside of the school that exists at the moment, and as I said, it floods. But while we were there last year, the charity, the parish, the local parish, Catholic parish, donated a site for a new primary school. So now what they need to do is to raise the funds for that.
Raise the funds.
Yes.
Okay, that's exactly what you and Philip are going to do,
Yes.
and you're absolutely great. Are you the only people from Cavan, or are you with another group?
No, just the
Nation?
two of us.
Just the two of us. Single-handedly. Okay, tell us about your fundraisers.
Okay, my main fundraiser each year for the past 5 years, I've done a ladies' afternoon tea experience, and we call it an experience because that's exactly what it is. We start off with a champagne cocktail reception.
Yes, as ladies do.
As ladies do, followed by a fashion show. This year it is Purple, Orange and High Style.
Throw their names
yes,
out there.
My makeup in Virginia are going to do the makeup for the local models.
That's your flyer
there. That's the poster there.
What date is that now again?
Sunday the 7th of June at 3:30 in the afternoon
so that's
in the
Sunday
Hotel
week,
Kilmore.
folks, that's out there if you're planning your dates for your diary. Sunday week. Okay, keep going.
Traditional afternoon tea with nice little sandwiches and scones and little cakes and some entertainment.
And you want as many ladies as possible to go to that because you want to get as much funds now.
But the one thing that I do need to say is we need to have some idea of numbers in advance, so people need to contact me if they're interested in tickets.
And your number's on
the number is on the flyer. Yeah, it's 087 124 7070. But tickets are available through Purple Orange or through High Style or through my makeup in Virginia as well, who are all actually contributing to the first.
Fundraiser coming up later on. We'll talk about that. Can I just ask you about the way the money is? Like, say if you raised 2,000 here, will that 2,000 go a hell of a lot further in a country like Cambodia or Uganda? Is it really worth a lot of money out in their currency? Is that big money?
The family Siobhan referred to earlier there, we built a house for them because the house was falling down. And in around 3,000 euros, 2,500, 3,000 euros, we'll build a house completely.
To build a house completely?
Yeah, and that's, we send the money over and a local guy there with the charity looks after it and gets local people to build. And they get a few pounds paid to them as well for doing the work.
Well, that's an amazing point. So folks, if you're watching, please note that, like, as little as it seems, 20 euros, 30 euros, 40 euros, as little as that seems here, it can do a hell of a lot out in Cambodia and Uganda. So remember that when you're donating your money and giving your money on the door on the day. So you've got a big fundraiser again in the Slieve Russell, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so I just want to make a point that the money, all of the money that's raised goes out. We pay our own expenses, our flights and expenses over there.
You don't use any part of the money you raised. It costs you money.
That was the ethos of the charity that we went with initially, Nurture Africa. That was their ethos, that you paid for your own flights.
So you're making that quite clear, Phil?
Yes, we are. Yes,
okay, so it costs you money to go out. It's at your own expense. The money you make and take with you is
completely used, all of it.
Good stuff. So now, come on, tell us about your big fundraiser in the
Well, the Slieve Russell Country Club kindly decided to have an event for our charity, and Seamus, the manager, this idea, golf balls, it's called Balls Away. There's going to be 1,000 balls numbered, and they're going to put them into the bucket of a digger and roll them down a hill, and the ball that goes the furthest is the winner of it. So we're selling balls on cards at €2.
Great, so you could buy a couple for a tenner.
That's
for a tenner. Great stuff.
And also the afternoon is taken up with also other activities in the Slieve Russell on the 14th of June, from 3:30 in the afternoon. There is crazy golf and there's all sorts of activities.
Family treasure hunt, talent show for the children, face painting, there'll be food, there'll be music, and this will all go on from 4 o'clock in the afternoon in the Slieve Russell till about 8, 9 o'clock that evening.
That's good stuff. And as I said at the beginning of the programme when we were talking about Irish people are great when there's disasters and when people need to raise funds. We do put our hand into our pockets and we do dig deep. But it's your hard work as well, because you make people, you tell them the story, you show them, you bring it to life, showing us the work that you've done and showing us pictures of the children that you know now, that you know, and they know you now yourself.
Yeah, and I think that's a very important point. I mean, we can go out there, but without the help and support of all our family, friends, local people, the whole community, we can't do this. You know, they're actually paying for, you know, the projects to come to life. And we really do appreciate, you know, when people do, no matter how small it is, because without them contributing, we can fly out to Zambia, but we can't do anything because we don't have money for the projects themselves. So it is hugely important. And I think you're correct, Irish people are so generous, because I mean, there are so many people fundraising for so many good causes. You know, and it's not easy asking people, but people are so generous.
Okay,
yeah.
Fantastic stuff. See the amount of work that you've done, fantastic stuff. And remember, folks, very little counts out in Mombasa in Uganda. Kazambia in Uganda, you see. And you had it right at the beginning, but now it's gone for me. But well done, great stuff to your work, and the very best with your
fundraisers.
Very much. So that's it. Now we're going to go for a break, but please do come back, because I'm going to tell you about a lady who's going to do her 8th parachute jump.
Cavan Crystal Hotel provides 4-star accommodation on the edge of Cavan town. Located conveniently on the Dublin Road, just 60 minutes away from Dublin. With 85 beautifully appointed bedrooms and a number of luxurious suites. We offer wedding packages. With our 1 wedding a day policy, we guarantee to make yours a special day. Enjoy a meal at our award-winning Opus One restaurant, or have a drink in the atrium or residence bars. Feeling energetic? You can work out in Zest Health and Fitness Club, or maybe pamper yourself and visit Utopia Health and Beauty Clinic, or Avita's Hair Salon, both located on site. Situated only 5 minutes from Cavan Town Centre and local amenities. Cavan Crystal Hotel, gateway to Ireland's Lakelands.
I'm James Seamus Smith, solo racer around Ireland 2014. I watch Cavan TV, and so should you. Hey!
I'm Gavin Duffy, and I'm saying watch cavantv.com. It's a great opportunity to see some great programs, and you can watch it all around the globe via the internet and on many platforms. I watch it myself. Great stuff.
I'm James Seamus Smith, solo racer around Ireland 2014. I watch Cavan TV and so should you.
Yay!
I'm Gavin Duffy, and I'm saying watch CavanTV.com. It's a great opportunity to see some great programs, and you can watch it all around the globe via the internet and on many platforms. I watch it myself. Great stuff.
And welcome back. A great big program, busy program this evening on Cavan TV. Now I've come to my last set of guests, and as you know, Cavan is a great place for people raising funds and doing it for somebody else and doing it for everybody else. Now my last group, a great big group of people here. I've got Hugh Curran, Mary Rooney, Mary Murray, I've got Johnny Greenan, Tara Sheridan and Pamela Crosby. And as I said earlier on, Mary here is going to do her 8th parachute jump. Now they're raising funds both for the Crumlin Hospital and for the oncology unit in Cavan. So well done folks, you are busy lining up stuff and getting to raise funds, and you want to do the parachute jump. Tell me all about the parachute jump. Tell me about the parachute jumps you did, Mary.
I've done about 7 of them, and I actually just, I enjoyed it so much, like I just jump out of the plane, like it's just buzz. Get a queer buzz when you jump out of it.
Yeah,
you know.
but the hard work is, I think the buzz is the good bit, but the hard work is actually raising the funds, isn't it?
Yeah,
that is the part. So tell me about, if you decide you're going to do a parachute jump, you do it down in that place, what do you call it? In Edenderry. It's the only place in Ireland that you can go to do a parachute.
Dublin,
Okay, and of course you're doing yours on the 3rd of August, weather permitting. It has to be nice, not windy conditions and everything like that. But you do your parachute jumps in tandem with a professional person. Okay, so tell me about that. How much is it to do a parachute jump?
It's 260.
So you have to raise in excess of €260 to do a parachute jump.
You'd raise 520.
You have to raise 520 to do it. Okay, girls, so many of you done Tara?
This will be my first one.
Good girl. Are you any bit nervous about it at all? Like, has she told you any scary stories or anything?
No, just about people landing in trees and all. So.
And you know what? Not only do they land in trees, they leave you there for a while because they have to get a lorry to go around or a jeep to go around. You could be there for a couple of hours, hanging out of the tree with the crows. I'm only joking. Pamela, you've done a few?
I've done one.
Okay, so come on, tell me about it.
I just loved it. Have to do it again. Brilliant.
You'll end up like Mary, a bit of a junkie for parachute jumps.
Well, she'll have to take over for me, so yeah.
You did one in tandem as well.
I did in 2013.
Did you do it for Crumlin?
I did for Crumlin.
You're a Crumlin girl.
Crumlin again.
Okay, so you're busy raising funds at the moment. Now, Jimmy, you tell me, Johnny, you want as many young people to get involved in this kind of fundraising. Don't you like to see young people looking out for people who are not so fortunate?
Yeah, I've done a lot of fundraising in my time, and I'd like to see a lot of young people here coming on board to do the like it is fundraising for all the different charities. It will be rewarded for it. To do it, and good to see young girls.
It's a two-way thing, isn't it, really, too? Is it like, you know, they raise the funds for the charity like the Crumlin or the or Cavan Oncology Unit, but you get the buzz of doing it as well, and the crack for doing it as well, and the achievement, the challenge of doing it. You did one as well, Hugh.
Last year.
You did.
Yes,
tell me about yours. Who did you do for?
I done it for Crumlin. My daughter passed away in Crumlin Hospital a few years ago.
Oh dear, I'm sorry to hear about that. So that's your affinity
with. Came on board for that reason, and I'm going to do it again maybe in a couple of years. But I'll just help out Mary with a bit of fundraising anytime I get a chance.
And that's the hard part,
so
you believe me.
It's really difficult.
The jump is no problem, but it's the fundraising people, isn't it? It's the fundraising thing. So you're going to stick with that and you're going to help out. So tell me, guys, what are you doing to raise funds, to get this funds now for the jump?
Well, I have only cards at the moment, that's all I'm doing.
Okay, so you're going around with the sponsorship cards. So folks out there, if you see Mary, Tara and Sheila and, Pamela, Mary, I'll get talking to Mary Murray in a minute. What are you doing, Mary? If you see them out with their cards, please know that they're going to do a tandem parachute out of an airplane on the 3rd of June. 10,000 feet. Now tell me, how high is that, really?
You're in the clouds, you're
over the clouds, yeah.
You're over the clouds at 6,000
like higher than up.
So you are, like at 8,000 feet you can't see the ground.
But we're doing a
that's interesting now, Hugh. So you can't see the ground. You just see clouds and you look out. Oh, what's it like looking out?
Well, like at 8,000 feet, you get your warning for 2,000 feet, and then once you get to 10,000 feet, the airplane, the engine's cut, so they do, and open the door and
throw you out.
We were going out the door, and that's just it, you know. You're just out the door, and that's it, you know.
And of course, there is a high when you get to the ground, isn't there? You're very.
Oh my God! When you're going up.
You actually can't wait to get out of the plane because like you've only got a small plane and it's full. There's about 10 people in it. And at 8,000 feet, it's rattling. So there's this plane. Like,
so it's scary in itself, actually.
You want out of the plane, you know what I mean? Just
really?
Once the chute opens, that's where the high is.
It's amazing.
It's fantastic. Once the chute opens.
Do you feel like you're on your own up there in the sky with God?
You can't hear
and you can't hear a thing, yeah.
There's no noise.
I did some paragliding one time on holidays, and that's the kind of thing. And there's not a sound. You're up there. Just feel the whisper. You feel you're up there with God, really, don't you?
You're as close to heaven as any alive man can be. You don't want to come down.
Okay, so folks, you're going around with your cards and you want people to sponsor you. Now, as we said, like this evening's programme seems to be a lot about people raising funds, but every little helps and every little goes a long way. And you, Hugh, you have experience of Crumlin Hospital and the good it did for you and your little child, and you would like to pass that on so you would like to do the same for somebody else and encourage people to do that.
Absolutely, yeah. There'll be bucket collections come around as well.
We're having a bucket collection.
All right, now this is what I want you to tell me about, Mary, so that we can keep it.
19th and 20th of June, Tesco and Dunn stores.
Are you bagging?
No, we're just doing stickers. You know, we do that.
So that's the 19th and the 20th of June. Dunn stores. So folks, please, when you see the buckets with Crumlin Hospital and Cavan Oncology Unit, please.
No, with Cavan Oncology Unit, we think of something else and we might do a coffee mornings or something.
But this is strictly for the parachute, strictly for Crumlin Hospital. Mary, how much have you raised for Crumlin over the years so far?
100,000 so far.
Go away. That puts you up there with Anne Donoghue. You saw the programme that Nationwide did on Anne Donoghue. You know the girl that does the running?
That's right,
yeah, because she's raised thousands for charities over the years as well. And you should be on it too. Oh, you can come in here to Cavan TV and tell us all about your raising funds. And Mary, what part are you playing this? Did you actually do a parachute jump?
I did 3. I did
good.
One 20 odd years, over 20 years ago, and I did another one, and then I did one last year.
Okay, so what would you advise anybody, like, if they were kind of willing or willing not to do a parachute jump? What would sell it? What would you sell it? How would you sell it?
I would say do it. It's such a thrill when you actually get up there and do the jump. It's, as you say, you know, you're up. Oh God, I was the last doing the parachute jump the last day, and I went up 13,000 feet, and just that, you know, when your chute opens, it's just like, you know, I'm way up here on my own and
peaceful.
Peaceful. Yeah. It's just like, oh, it's so hard to describe. You need to do it to understand what the feeling is. You know, it's just.
Okay, you'll have everybody wanting to ring us up now in 10 minutes. We'll have everybody ringing up. I got talked into doing the 50 miles challenge in 20 hours with the JFK up in Moila, and that's next Saturday. So I don't know if I'm going to try and do it anyway, folks. Walk 50 miles in 20 hours. Now, okay, that's it, Jimmy. Johnny, you want to say your last thing about getting young people involved in fundraising?
If anyone wants to join up on this, contact Mary. Mary will give her number now in a couple of minutes just before we finish up. And it's brilliant to see young people coming on board. And it's very good for them.
Okay,
that's
well
all I
done.
want.
So that's it, folks. There you see them. If you see them around town on the 17th of the 18th, 17th of June, Mary, you'll have to throw out your number. We'll have to get your number. Throw out your number quickly there, Mary.
086 07 44 993.
Say that again.
086 07 44 993.
So that's it, folks. You see them, please put something in the bucket. A little goes a long way. And that's it. Thanks to the folks who are going to do that for Crumlin Hospital. Thanks, folks. And the best of luck. And now we go to a break.
Thank you.
Cavan Crystal Hotel provides 4-star accommodation on the edge of Cavan town. Located conveniently on the Dublin Road, just 60 minutes away from Dublin. With 85 beautifully appointed bedrooms and a number of luxurious suites. We offer wedding packages. With our one wedding a day policy, we guarantee to make yours a special day. Enjoy a meal at our award-winning Opus One restaurant, or have a drink in the atrium or residence bars. Feeling energetic? You can work out in Zest Health and Fitness Club, or maybe pamper yourself and visit Utopia Health and Beauty Clinic, or Avita's Hair Salon, both located on site. Situated only 5 minutes from Cavan Town Centre and local amenities. Cavan Crystal Hotel, gateway to Ireland's Lakelands.
Back, you're watching Cavan TV's News and Views. Well, a very busy programme tonight, and earlier today I caught up with Luke Waters, and I was chatting about his book NYPD Green, and that's the story, the true story of an Irish detective working in one of the toughest police departments in the world. In the studio I have, and I'd like to welcome Luke Waters.
Thank you very much, Anya. It's a pleasure to be here.
You are a man from Finglas, and you've worked in the police department in New York for 20 years, and now you're back in Cavan.
I am, thank God.
And also now, big stuff about NYPD Green. I'm seeing it everywhere. It's in the news. I'm hearing interviews on the radio, in the car. Big stuff, NYPD Green. Tell us all about the book. It's a true story, your story.
It is. What NYPD Green is about, Anya, is it chronicles my journey from Finglas in the north side of Dublin, where I grew up, to 42nd Street in New York City. It first takes you to my early days in New York in the 1980s, where, like most immigrants, we were all illegal aliens. It then shows you how I obtained my United States citizenship. And from there, it shows you where I fulfilled my dream to become a police officer. And I joined the NYPD. And the book will take you through my 20-year career, mostly as a detective in Bronx homicide. And then, I suppose the icing on the cake at the end for me was I was the only person selected to go to the FBI, where I did go to the FBI. I was deputized by the FBI, and I worked a case from South America all the way through Florida, Texas, back up into New York City. It was a case which involved $90 million a year of cocaine. It resulted in over 2 dozen arrests,
And it's real TV stuff altogether.
Oh, it is.
This is real stuff.
There was approximately a dozen homicides and shootings that went along with it. So it was a big operation.
Stuff. Just to get back to the first part of your story, is that your grandfather was one of the first policemen, Gardaí, would you say, of the state, isn't that right?
That's correct.
And your brothers also, was your brother as a policeman as well?
That's correct.
And you wanted to go in those footsteps, but you wanted to follow their footsteps, but it didn't take you. It took you to that part of the world, to the toughest police department in the world. And now that you're retired, you've written the book, and you can tell all now, can't you?
Absolutely, but it's all the truth. It's my story, it's my memoir.
Yeah, and we're going to have, folks, as well, we're going to have some pictures crossing the screen as well, and they're going to depict some of Luke's story. Your early days in New York, the 1980s, was a time of recession. Not much left here in Ireland, and a lot of people left Ireland after school. And you found yourself in New York in 1980 what?
Oh God, I remember it very vividly, Anya. It was November 16th, 1985, and I'll never forget my early days in New York, because we came from Ireland back then, which everybody knew it was riddled with a recession. We had nothing here. And I recall very vividly, before I got off the airplane, I remember the pilot saying, put your watches back 5 hours to local time. But when I got into New York City in a taxi that day, I remember my first impression was the pilot should have said, put your watches forward 20 years. That's what it felt like. But
such was the difference between Ireland and New York, you felt?
Oh, listen, it was the positive feeling that you felt because we came from Ireland. And everybody worked. No matter what your dream was in New York, you fulfilled that dream. But for me, I was like everybody else. We ended up in New York, and most people worked in construction and the bars. Mm. And I got my first lucky break actually with a Cavan man, Connie O'Reilly.
Connie O'Reilly, we've had Connie in here in the studio, a great Cavan man, and he likes to make people feel welcome, whether they visit or if they go over there to work. And he's still doing it, isn't he?
Connie was one of the biggest publicans in New York back in the 80s, and he's even bigger today. But without guys like Connie, and I'm not just saying Connie, but there's Mike Carty from Leitrim, there's a lot of publicans, but without guys like Connie, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today. And Connie has probably hired hundreds of Irish immigrants throughout the years, and all were very successful.
Okay, so like, how does he do? Does he guarantee you a job? Does he get you a job? Does he put you up? Does he put you in contact with the right people? Does he help you with your legal status? What way did he look after you?
Connie would do what he does to all immigrants. They would hire them.
Give them a job?
Give them a job, basically, yes.
So if you wanted to work, you worked?
There's plenty of work in New York.
Yeah. So 1985, that's almost 30 years ago now, Luke. And then you made your dream come true of becoming a policeman.
Yeah.
Okay. Heard wonderful stories about it. You were trying to, some little old lady, what was her name, Hines, one of the richest ladies in New York came across, and she wanted you to help her with a dog that was pooing in a garden somewhere. Tell us about that story. It's much more better than what I'm saying. Go on, tell me the story anyway.
Well, what happened to me, Anya, was when I graduated from the police academy, my assignment was the 17th precinct. And, you know, like most recruits, like most police officers, when you come out of the academy, you're pumped up, you're ready for the Bronx, Brooklyn, you want to go fight crime, you want action.
Action.
But I end up in one of what's known as the quietest precincts in New York City, the 17th precinct.
Is it a rich area, an affluent area?
I was warned that some of the most richest and some of the most powerful people in the world live in this area.
Right.
So on one particular morning I go to roll call and my sergeant tells me I have a fixed post, which meant it's like 10 Downing Street in England. The police officer would just stand in front of this location, but the location was the United Nations Ambassador's residence, which was right on the corner of 57th Street and Sutton Place. Now, I was warned that right on this corner, people like Jean Kennedy Smith live right on the corner. I was told that Sean Connery lives right on the corner. And I was just told that a few weeks prior, Princess Margaret had just visited and stayed right on the corner. So they were making sure that I was well aware of who was in this area. And on this particular day, I was standing in front of the United Nations Ambassador's residence for about 4 or 5 hours, completely bored, saying to myself, this isn't what I signed up to do. And all of a sudden, this lady, very well spoken, very, very well dressed, approaches me and says, pardon me, officer, there's a dog in the park. And I just look over my shoulder. Now, the park isn't what you would describe as a park. It's a small little green area, the size of what I would call an intersection in New York City. And I see this little bit of white fluff hopping around. So, to me, it's not a Rottweiler, it's not a pit bull. And I says to the lady, that's correct, there is a dog in the park. And she says, well, there's a sign on the wall, no dogs allowed. Now, it just came out of me, the way I said it. I just says, I'm sorry, ma'am, maybe the dog can't read the sign. I mean, what do you want me to say?
Okay, you're right.
But she went off, her nose up in the air, and I'm sitting there. And I have to estimate, maybe about a half an hour later, I could hear the siren of a police car in the distance coming flying. And I'm saying to myself, is there a bank getting robbed, or what's going on? And I'm turning the radio up, and I couldn't hear nothing on the radio. But real quickly, the car skids right in front of me. And the Sergeant McHugh in the car says, Waters, get in the car. And the other officer got out and relieved me at my post. And he goes, I don't know what's wrong, but you got a major problem. And I figured right away, because they were known for doing pranks, and I figured this is just a prank. Yeah. But very quickly I realised it wasn't a prank, because the sergeant was driving the car, and he was driving as fast as he could through New York City, intersections, red lights, with lights and sirens on. And to me, this is no joke. You don't do that in the police department. So I got back to the 17th precinct, and up I go up to Captain Smoker's office, the commander of the precinct. And as soon as I walked into his office, he stood up and he slammed the door behind me, and he starts putting his finger right in my face, screaming at me. And Captain Smoker is from the United States Marine Corps, and he's really all about military discipline. And I felt like crying when he started screaming at me, who the hell do you think you are? And just as about to say I'm sorry, he says, who the hell do you think you are telling Mrs. Hines, the ketchup queen of the world, the dog can't read the sign? So for a moment I was relieved, slightly relieved, but you know, at the same time, this is no joke.
Yeah, that's 30 years ago, but you moved on from there, and you got in, as you say in your book, and folks, please, please, please get the book. It's you're in the best-selling list. What number?
I'm actually in the 5th week in a row in the top 10 bestseller.
Fantastic. So it's a great read, folks out there. Get the book, go and read it. But you then got into the toughest police department in the world. You were in 42nd Street.
I was.
And that's, you were on the street, you were a homicide detective. Really, 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 you worked with the worst of the worst, really.
We did. I spent actually most of my career as a detective in Bronx homicide. And, you know, just to give people an idea what it was like.
Dude, that's what I was doing. Just give me an idea, like, of really, how bad is it? Like Harlem with the barrels burning and everybody's trying to kill somebody or something. Is it really that bad? Come on, give us an idea.
Look, I could talk about it all day long. What we would do as detectives, we would investigate approximately 150 homicides a year. That does not account for all the police shootings or the baby deaths that we investigate. And just to go back, 15, 20 years prior to me getting to Bronx homicide, the detectives were investigating about 700 homicides a year. That's the major difference. But it is very busy. We're an extremely proactive police department, and we investigate every case thoroughly, and we do our best.
Yeah.
But the homicides, I mean, you do feel sorry for the victims and their families, because it ranges.
Is life kind of like sort of like no account for it at all? Nobody appreciates it. If somebody's shot, if a down and out shot on the street, is it really that cold and hard?
It is cold.
You see, sometimes you see that, Luke, you see that coming in films, you know, and you hear the cops, just another down and out, you know, another Jane Doe or whatever. You know, is it really that cold? Is it that hard?
It is cold and it is hard. Look, homicides in New York and the Bronx are no different than a homicide in Dublin.
Just as a hell of a lot more, because there's more people.
There is, but it's the same sort of technique as as a detective, the way you investigate it. You know, like the code of silence on the street is you don't talk. You just don't talk. That's the way it is. And that's why, as a detective, you have to get a little bit smarter than the perpetrator and the witnesses. You know, but they are cold, of course they are.
Yeah. and murder, and then you have like, and I know like over the years here we'd have cold cases, and we throw out the information again of them years later and to see will it jerk anybody's memory, or can we solve these cold cases? Would that be the case in New York, or do you let a case go?
No case is left behind.
Okay, that's good to hear that.
In my book, NYPD Green, we go back to old cases, 20, 30 years old. Once you get a tip, there's a new lead on them, you run with it. But no case is left behind.
So you never really, they don't give up.
You never ever give up, never.
Yeah. You were selected to go and work with the FBI, and like you were one chosen out of how many?
Oh God, a lot. For me, look, it was the icing on the cake in my career. I was very fortunate, like to get into Bronx homicide as a detective. That was a dream for me from childhood. That was my ultimate goal. But when I was selected to go to the FBI, that was just for me, it was beyond the icing on the cake. And when I got to the FBI, I was deputized by the FBI. We worked in San Juan, Puerto Rico, South America, all the way back up to New York. It was a 2-year case.
Yeah, we've got some photographs there, Luke, going through you as your life as a cop in that beat, look.
That's just a photograph from the Garda Review. They did a story on me quite a few years ago. The one previous to that was from a crime scene where Lamar Platt was the defendant. He shot both his mum and his brother, and he chopped up into all different body parts and dumped them in the East River.
And you had to deal with this?
Correct. You know, detective work is not about emotion. Detective work is about facts.
Tell me now, how do you protect yourself as a person from this stuff getting in and on your own self and it eating you up?
You don't, because detective work is about facts. You want the facts of the case.
It's disturbing. It must be very disturbing when you come along where maybe a child has been, beaten to death or something like that.
Listen, I quote one case in the book. We call it the baby bins case. It was a 14-year-old child who gave birth to a full-term baby. It was over 7 pounds. As soon as it was born, at 10 o'clock at night time, she opened the window and threw the baby out the window. She lived 6 floors up, and her parents were in the next room, didn't know she was pregnant, didn't know she even gave birth. So for us, we get there, we do this on a daily basis. It's like a doctor in the emergency room, patient after patient coming in.
Okay, so you go in with a clinical sort of a mind.
It is. It's facts. It's all
Even
about
though
facts.
now you're a married man, and we'll talk about your Cavan connections in a minute, and you've got 3 beautiful young children yourself, 2 at secondary school and 1 at national school. It must have been disturbing for you to see things like that. And thinking of your own family.
You become detached from
So you
death.
do become detached.
You do, because you do this
learn that.
every day of the week. I would do autopsies anywhere from 1, 2, maybe 4 days a week. We worked with 5 medical doctors. You had to be there, and it was all about facts. I mean, yes, I do feel sorry for the victim and their families. Of course I do. I didn't know these people. This is what my job is. And you are detached from it. And remember, you do this every day of the week. You have to do this every day of the week. If you can't, you're not meant for Bronx homicide.
Okay. Yeah, obviously, you got in there with that. Now, what's going on with yourself now? You're still a young person. After retirement, and you're back in Cavan, and I know that somebody's very interested in your book as well.
Yes, I am. I'm just actually back from New York City.
Yeah.
Simon & Schuster snapped up the copyrights of NYPD Green, my book, and we're launching the same book at the end of the year in the United States with Simon & Schuster.
Do you think you'll put it into a screenplay?
We are in talks at the moment, so we'll see how that works out.
Your story could be a series out in New York.
It's possible. The problem is, who's going to play you?
Fantastic story, and I'm glad you're back in Cavan and your children are going to grow up in Cavan. Of course, you're married to a Cavan lady.
I am, thank God. One of the very first people I met when I first arrived in New York City almost 30 years ago. Susan, she's from Cavan here, and listen, I'm back in Cavan a couple of years and I absolutely love it.
Oh, that's great.
It's a great place to rear kids, and it's great to be home, most importantly with the family.
Yeah. Well done. So you have no misgivings about not getting into the Garda Síochána all those years ago. You had a much more exciting life where you went to New York, didn't you?
If you say so.
Anyway, thanks so much. Is there anything more now you'd just like to say about your life as a cop? If there's a young person listening out there saying, my God, that's a fantastic story. Could that happen to me today? Could I go out there and could I rise from being an illegal immigrant, which you were, to being like seconded by the FBI? Yeah. What would you say to them? Dream and you'll do it.
My advice, and I tell my children the same thing, Anya, I tell them this every day: follow your dream. Follow your dream. My youngest son wants to be a fighter jet pilot. My eldest daughter, Tara, she wants to join the NYPD. And my middle son is between a doctor and the NYPD. But they will achieve them dreams if that's really what they want. And I encourage young people here that if you want to be, I'm referring now to the NYPD, if you want to join the NYPD, go to America, because you have no idea how valuable you are to the NYPD. We're losing our heritage in the NYPD, and we're desperately in need of young Irish people in the police department. We have the NYPD Gaelic football team, and we just played here actually in Croke Park last year on Garda Síochána, the Northern Ireland Police, PSNI, and the Metropolitan Police in London in an international football tournament. And I find it a shame that we're losing we don't have the young players to play in the football team because we don't have the young Irish coming on the job, and we desperately need them. And the NYPD recruits anywhere up to 4,000 or 5,000 police officers a year.
Okay, so good stuff. Luke Waters, NYPD Green. And as you say, Luke, if you can dream it, you can do it.
Absolutely.
And folks can read all about your story, as you say, a true life story in the book of New York PD Green. Thank you so much for coming into the studio. You're a very busy person, and I appreciate you so much for coming in and talking to us on Cavan TV. Luke Waters, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Anya.
Well, that was an interview I did earlier this evening with Luke Waters, and do go into Eason's, go wherever and get that book. It was really fascinating talking to Luke. That's it for this week's programme. It's the weekend. I'd like to say thanks to all my guests in the studio, to Philip and Siobhan Mcentee on their forthcoming fundraising trip to Uganda. I'd like to say thanks to Brian Derham, the PRO of the Cavan Rugby Club Male Vice Choir, and to all the folk who are coming in and doing their bungee jumps, to Hugh Curran, Mary Rooney, Johnny Green and Mary Murray, Tara Sheridan and Paula Crosby, who are raising funds to do a parachute jump for the oncology unit in Cavan and for Crumlin Hospital. That's it for this week. It's the weekend. Do remember Slaying is on tomorrow. Wherever you are, it's the weekend. Have fun and do take care.